I don't wanna waste my life. 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 Sometimes when the beat hits, it's just some things there's no going back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not the one with the issues. I hear you, now here is your tissue. If I'm moving too fast, I might have to dismiss you. And it's really too bad, cause I really will miss you. But I'm not the one with the issues. I left them at church when I made it official. I murdered the curse with my own benediction. Left God in the dirt, call it death of the fiction. Superstition will be serving eviction. Competition will be left in a ditch. Oh my God, it's too damn hot in this kitchen. The fishes are men, I'm now sleeping with fishes. Oops, my bad, I guess I'm moving too vicious. Verses sold, I gotta put them on your wish list. Bless my soul, cause I'm dodging your little hit list. I guess you know you just lost another witness. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go right now. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go, I'm out of here. I can do anything, fuck your opinions and energy. I finally got the epiphany, my biggest hindrance was God can't do nothing but fail. Greater is me, I never needed your deity. All of this human capacity, when it gets rough I can pick myself up and prevail. Cause I don't need anything other than people who fuck with me. Good business, it starts with your company. That's why your boy is obsessed with community. Cause greater is we can create opportunity. Doing what God never did, cause a God never could. But a people is all we need. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go right now. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go, I'm out of here. Let me go, I'm out of here. Let me go, I'm out of here. Let me go, I'm out of here.
All right. Hey, welcome everybody. This is Sunday Sessions. It is your weekly touch point for connection, community, and conversation. I want to welcome everybody who's joining us live on YouTube. You might be joining us from the global campus. You might even be watching at the local watch party. Welcome. And of course, you might be visiting us from the future, watching the replay. But in any case, however you found us, we're glad you're here. And of course, hoping that you're willing and able and ready to share our mission, which is to help people connect better, build better, and live better. And joining me today, I should have introduced myself. My name is Bob Swanson. I'm going to introduce my co-host, Mark, checking in from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Good morning, Mark.
Yeah, good morning. It's a beautiful morning here in Fort Lauderdale. And so I just wanted to touch a little bit on our values, but also kind of wanted to connect these values to our conversation today. And the conversation is headcanon. The definition I have is that headcanon is the unofficial story that fans build in their minds to fill in gaps, explain contradictions, or make a fictional world feel more satisfying. And I just was noting that the same kind of story shows up in a lot of parts of our lives, and particularly in religious and ideological parts.
Right.
They take these fragments of traditions and emotional needs and present them as if they're the official story of reality, And
there's actually, I think it's kind of very pertinent to here, at least in the States, is the Independence Day weekend.
Yeah.
And how much filling in has been done of our own national history. What stories have we been listening to? Which ones resonate as far as what the country has been and what the country currently is and where the country is going. And so these are all.
So another take on this that I have is that headcanon represents humanity's audacious attempt to write its own interests into a shared story. And just to say that, none of us are actually living the official story, but we need to build a life where meaning is chosen, grounded, and owned for ourselves. So bringing that back to values, we are a forward-thinking community, and no matter what path you find yourself on, your next phase should not be just disbelief, but that authorship. And we can't wait around for someone to write a better story for us to live in. We must recognize that life is a collaborative project, and we're actively shaping these stories to have true meaning within reality.
Nice.
We're people-centric. We're not just characters inside someone else's stories. And we all have our own fundamental right to embody our experience. Last one that we have is life-affirming. Life-affirming narratives do not require denial, fear, superstition, or authoritarian control to survive.
Yes. I'm glad you kind of mentioned superstition. I like to think that around here in Bridge City, we're declaring our independence from superstition and dogma. Because ultimately, the reason one of the main factors in Bridge City's why is that ultimately people matter. And we're not attempting to kind of pretend certainty. This is really a place for honest thinking and shared responsibility, intentional connection, and mature reflection. And a lot of perspectives are welcome here. You don't have to agree with everything to be part of the conversation.
Yeah, everybody brings their own story to the table, quite frankly,
right.
And we value what everybody brings. So with that, I'd like to welcome anybody who's here for the first time. In particular, we always want to make you feel welcome and know that your presence matters.
Yes, and if we do have a free gift, so we got a QR code on the screen there. Free gift for guests. This is not a sales pitch. It's really just kind of an effort toward hospitality. If you happen to stumble upon the stream, you have a chance to learn more about our community by checking out your free gift. Claim it whenever you're ready.
And also, I'd like to extend a welcome to our returning members. We appreciate you being here, that our community is built intentionally by people like yourself showing up and being a part of the community.
And as Mark already sort of introduced, the theme for this July series is headcanon, which thankfully you did a great job of defining that for us, Mark, because when I first saw this as our topic for the month, I was not that familiar. So you did a good job of framing it.
Actually.
You did your research better than I did.
Yeah, so let's take a look at what if people would like to chime in the chat. We'd like to hear what headcanon means to you. If you have some thoughts that you'd like to drop in, I'd love to see what you might have to say.
Yeah, one thing I'll mention, because as I've learned more about headcanon, of course I can't help but think about my own personal experience and how, of course, I was raised in a pretty strict, devout household, and those certain stories that are you're kind of told, and you're told by authorities, and you kind of accept it as truth, and that becomes part of your narrative, and it can be quite difficult to untangle all that.
Yeah, and well, it's one of the things, when I was looking at some of this stuff, I was thinking about some of the stories in particular, like the stories we tell ourselves about hell, for example. That's always a good one.
Yes.
And most of the images that we have of this narrative don't even come from the Bible, quite frankly. They come from things like the Divine Comedy from Dante, the Apocalypse of Peter, these other stories. That's something I'm sure that we'll be talking about that some more later today.
Well, great. Well, let's transition into the news there real quick, Mark.
Sure. Well, welcome again. My name is Mark Russell. I just wanted to again just put out a little welcome to everybody.
Yeah, and just welcome everybody. And we're just so thrilled you're here. The community is stronger. I think we're stronger together. E pluribus unum. So we're glad you're here.
We'd like to invite you to visit the global campus. It's bridgecity.app/global campus. You can get to it via that QR code if you'd like, or if you're good at typing, you just type it in, I suppose. But it's a great place to just check things out, check out the lobby, and get started. Introduce yourself, check things out. We're always expanding the campus, and there are several places where you can get introduced. In our Welcome Center in particular, you can find some introductory materials and learn more about Bridge City.
Yeah, and there's a guiding hand. We have things called connection circles, so you get a chance to. You're not kind of on your own. You'll actually have a chance for a guided tour to get to know the community. And we also have things called small talks, where we have members that present on certain topics, and that is a great way to sort of learn get the temperature of the room, I suppose, and also get some personal development going on.
I need to schedule one of those for myself.
I'd scheduled one. I'm actually later this month. I'll be doing a thing like critical thinking, so looking forward to that. If you've never, or if you've been a member and are perhaps interested in sharing Bridge City with other folks, consider hosting a watch party. Watch parties, they're pretty low key. It's really just a chance to have a small in-person gathering where several folks are watching a Sunday session together. And the nice part is that you'll immediately have a chance to have a conversation after the conversation, maybe even during the conversation. You might even heckle while it's going on, but or toss some ideas around. But that's a cool thing to do.
It's a good way to just start getting involved. Of course, just showing up here, of course, is useful as well.
We're going to move into another way of getting involved, which is clubs. We have some really cool clubs, including I must have gone. There we go. We were featuring 3 this week. We have an art club, we have a music club, and we have a production club. I can't draw a lick, so I'm not really that involved in the art club, but I do enjoy music, and I like to write music, and so I'm involved with the music club. Our member Jude she's the go-to, and she's the person who organizes songwriting sessions and that kind of stuff. And I'm also tangentially involved with the production club, where we kind of work behind the scenes to make this whole stream happen. Z is the heavy lifter on the production club. Right.
Yeah. I mean, and these are so we have a couple of different formats of these clubs. Some of them are like interest clubs, like art, music, books, things like that. And then there's other clubs like the production club, which is more about participation, like doing, like actually getting things done. And so they're slightly different styles, but something for everyone, I think, in this.
And speaking of getting stuff done, that's what we want to feature now, a brand new music video that was a kind of a collaboration between the art club and the music club and the production club. Are you ready for it, Mark?
Yeah, bring it on.
All right.
In a world full of irrational thinking and echo chambers, only the bridge builders can save the day, bringing us back to a shared reality based on truth and connection. Meet Fast Forward, bringing the future now. Meet Whimsy, fluttering to make new connections. And meet Affirmaman. Wait, is this really this guy's name? Really? Well, all right. Meet Affirmaman, doing whatever it is Affirmaman does. Together, they are the Bridge Builders.
Story. Look to the bridge builders, where Dogmatron hides. Bridge builders fight. Your story is yours to write. Building shared reality is better than a fantasy. So you and you and you and me can rise above the phony and be free. Living the life you choose. Don't be afraid to lose when misinformation and algorithm attack. Bridge builders got your back. Together we can do it. Building shared reality is better than a fantasy. So you and you and you and me can rise above the phony and be free. Your power's always been within. You have the strength to fight and win. There was never a such thing as sin. Why wait for your life to Building shared reality is better than a fantasy. So you and you and you and me can rise above the phony and be free.
Happy Sunday, everybody. Listen, you heard it. You heard it. Let's rise above the phony and be free. That is such an amazing song, y'all. It is such an amazing song. I'm super duper proud of our music team, of our arts club, of our multimedia team, who all work together to make that project happen for this series. And I believe they're already working together on another project. And so that's exciting to me because that's what community is all about. Listen, is this your first time attending Sunday sessions with Bridge City? If it is, we have a gift that we want to give to you. You can visit the link on the screen, bridgecity.app/guest. Make sure to add the www and /guest, and you'll have a gift that you'll get directly from us. And it's our way of just saying, hey, thank you for sharing your time with us. You could be anywhere right now, and for whatever reason, you're choosing to do community with us on this wonderful Sunday, and we're happy about that. We're happy that you're here. You made it here. I have a few announcements today. That's why I'm jumping in a little earlier than I normally do. The first one, our head of community just told me today, I had no idea this was a thing, but happy Parents Day. Actually, Bob should be here today to be doing this. Happy Parents Day, everybody. I don't know what you get for Parents Day, but happy Parents Day. I'm one too. So Also, as you're coming in, please let us know where you're watching from. And it's not just for me, it's for other people in the chat, other people in the community to know that they are not alone and that there might be somebody in their state, in their area, who's also just as excited about community as they are. And of course, I've been asking you all this lately. Did you invite someone to join you for community this weekend? Because that's one of the many ways we grow as a new community. We've grown by over 200 members within the past 6-7 months, which is incredible, and that's mainly just by doing these Sunday sessions and putting information out there and letting people know that we're available, that we're an option, that this is something you can do. You can be a part of this community. But another way that we grow is by you making that invitation, you extending that invitation and saying, hey, why don't you come and share a community moment with me on Sundays at noon Central and just see if you like it. Make that invitation and see what happens. But make sure to invite somebody out with you. And all right, so let me jump into some of these announcements, because we have a lot of things going on at Bridge City right now. And I don't know about y'all, but it's exciting and it's so much work. So right now, this Tuesday night, which Bob did mention in the opening, Bob is hosting a small talk on why critical thinking matters. That's going to be this Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central Time. So if you're in a different time zone, that's going to be different for you. And then also we have our Means and Media Club is going to be hosting game night at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's a little later for me, but for those of you that are on the West Coast, I think that's going to be perfect timing for you. Then this Wednesday night, we have our new members house party, which we do every month, every last Wednesday of the month. We like to get together to celebrate. Alabama's in the house. Alabama knows how to party. Mm-mm. Alabama knows how to party. Mm-mm. In the city of Dothan. Okay, I'm sorry. That's where I am. So every last Wednesday night of the month, every last Wednesday night of the month, we do our new members house party. If you've not attended one, we'd love to see you there. It's a great way to learn more about the community that you're joining, get involved, and all that great stuff. All right, so new members house parties. And next Sunday is movie night. And we're going to be watching The Master and Margarita. I think this is going to be our first movie with subtitles, that's dubbed. It's really excited. I'm really excited about this one. I haven't had to host the past 3 movie nights, which is a great sign, because that means that we have more people in the community who are taking ownership and making things happen. Also, this month we started coffee hours. How have y'all been thinking about coffee hours? I see Mississippi in here. You right up the road. What have y'all been thinking about coffee hours? We just started it this month. And what we've done isn't that so dope? This month, every Sunday this month after the session, we get together as a community and we talk about the session, we talk about the community, we learn about each other, and we do the things that make community work. So if you don't have anything going on after today's session, we'd love to see you join us for coffee hour. Just join in there. All right. And so I told y'all I had a lot of announcements. I'm going to jump in a few. I promise you, I'm going to jump in. But I did promise my head of community that I would do a casting call. So I want to do that right now. Yeah, Phoenix, Arizona. Arizona knows how to party. I'm just going to do that with everything that has Alabama, 4 syllables, Alabama, California, Arizona, Mississippi. Knows how to party. Okay, I'm on one right now. Am I doing too much? Y'all tell me if I'm doing too much. You're supposed to be telling me how y'all are liking those coffee hours. All right. So while y'all are doing that, let me share my screen for a little bit. Bam. If you see here, this is our page for our homemakers, our members and dang it, I can't get my words out. Our members experience team. Yeah, is that right? Members experience? Sure, we're going to go for it. That's our team that helps our members get acclimated. A very special part of that team is our stage host. And right now you see stage host every Sunday. We've just started implementing it within the last 2 months. And our current roster of stage hosts have been Bob, Mark, Jude, and Ashley. But we want to let you know that that is not a limited roster. It's not an exhaustive roster. You can sign up to be one of the stage hosts. And this is the page where you would do it at. Let me scroll up just so you'll see the top of this page. See that? Welcome to Homemakers, baby. The member experience team of Bridge City. I should have started here, right? So I wouldn't have flubbed up the name so bad. But the member experience team of Bridge City. And what we're looking for right now are stage hosts. And that's this one right here. And that basically you help humanize the stage experience. You have to admit, having Bob, Mark, Ashley, and Jude come in before and after the session really does add something valuable to our Sunday sessions. And it's not necessarily something new. It's something that we've always had as a part of the plan, but because we only started with one person, we couldn't do that. But now we're bigger than one person. So this is an incredible way to bring your voice to the table and help other members feel welcome, engaged, and accepted in our community just by seeing you on the screen. What do they say? Representation matters. All right. But then there's also, I got to do this other call out. Bam. I'm gonna share this tab and then we're gonna jump into this. I told you I had some news. That's why I broke up in here. Also, our missions and events team is looking for some really key roles. As you know, we have a lot of activities that we do at Bridge City. So we have movie nights, we have game nights, we have our new member house parties, and we have our small talks. We have so many more things that are going on that are based directly for our members. One of the roles that we need fulfilled, like ASAP, is a volunteer activity coordinator. And that's someone who can be responsible for owning our activities. When someone says, hey, I want to host a game night, or somebody says, I want to host a movie night, or we say, hey, we want to do something special for the members, we want our activity coordinator to be the person who's on top of that, helping people get their activities and events set up, and also sponsoring different activities and events. So if you have 99 problems and activities isn't one of them, activity coordinator is a great role to consider stepping into. We also need bridge reps. Come on now, bridge reps. What are bridge reps? Bridge reps are people who help people cross into the community. So right now, when you join our community, we welcome you into a group chat. And if you've joined our community recently, make sure you're checking your chats. We welcome you into a group chat where you can ask any questions that you have. And we walk you through the onboarding process and all that good stuff. But after you complete the onboarding process, it's our bridge rep, just someone who volunteers because they want to help you cross over into the community. They'll be the person who would meet you immediately after you finish your onboarding. And so we need somebody who's there to help people cross over from their onboarding into determining what do they want to do next. Maybe you want to join one of our teams. Maybe you want to become a club organizer. Maybe you want to partner with some of our clubs that already exist. A bridge rep would help you do that. We also need club promoters, and we need this role like yesterday, because right now, all of this is bearing down on my head of community and our director of member experience. We need a club promoter who can really help our club organizers. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about that one later. But I've given you the information. I've done my job. If you're interested, you can go to the website. You can go to either bridgecity.app/teams to get all of our teams. But if you can't remember that, just click the icon that says lobby, which you should see right here, and it'll take you there. All right, so I think that's enough of that. I'm going to go ahead and take down my screen. If you're looking for something to do, we have something for you to do. If you want to help make a difference in community, trust me, we want to help you do that, and we love for you to be a part of it with us. So let me now close all of these pages so we can get right into the nitty-gritty of where we are today. I think that was everything I was supposed to hit. This is the last week of Headcanon, y'all. We've been in Headcanon for 3 weeks now. This is week 4. Today, we're concluding our July series, which we've appropriately named Headcanon. Over the past few weeks, we've sat in this idea of narrative awareness for the purpose of reclaiming narrative agency. And I want to say that again, just so that really clears. We've sat in this idea of narrative awareness, being aware of the stories we inherit and the stories we inhabit, and then really focusing on reclaiming our narrative agency, which means I'm not just going to inherit a story. I'm not just going to inhabit a story that I'm not responsible for. We've taken a closer look at these stories and have challenged ourselves to confront the complexity of our shared reality. And that's really where we set in last weekend with Multiverse of Madness, is that the crazy thing is we have a shared reality, but we're not always having a shared experience. And so because we're not having shared experiences, the way we perceive reality, the way we operate in reality is very different, can be very different from one person to another. So we made 4 major movements of this series. And I'm going to warn you in advance, I'm going to be a little talkative at the beginning. And then at the end, I got an activity that I want us to do together that I think is really going to be fun. So we've had 4 major movements in this series. Number 1 is recognizing the inherited story. All right. How much of your story is inherited? How much of what you inhabit is inherited? That doesn't immediately mean that the story is not valid, right? All inherited stories are not invalidated just because they are inherited. It just means I am aware that this is a story that I received without interrogation. And so now that I am aware of that, that allows me to reclaim my agency and allows me to take that second move, which is now that I'm recognizing the inherited story, I can also separate the story from reality. Okay, this is what it feels like. And this is what it is. And as I'm separating the story from reality, then I'm working on recovering authorship. And I really think that's been a major vein in this series, is not just getting to the place where you don't believe, but it's like, no, how do I pick up the pen and author my own story? And the big point of all of this, which is the 4th movement of the series, is where we are today. This is about building meaning without surrendering truth. I can have meaning without having to surrender my truth. I love the way Bob said it. I think I've said it every week now, ever since he said it. This is really about reclaiming our stories from superstition, or even better, claiming our independence from superstition and grounding our interactions in a reality that we can share. All right. So week 1 was claiming independence from inherited stories while reclaiming our stories within. Okay. Week 2 was an exploration of how villains evolve in our narrative identity. And I gotta say, week 2 was probably one of my favorites. It was probably one of my favorites because we all got villains and we often don't actually wonder how they got there. And then week 3, last week, major shout out to Julian Gibson, Party Wolf Media, for helping us in this conversation about understanding how multiple narratives can develop in one story. 5 people experiencing one thing together, but can have completely different narratives about what they're experiencing because of their lived experiences, because of their biology, because of their neurochemical makeup. And so now that we've laid the groundwork, I think we can close this series right. So this weekend, we're wrestling with writing new stories with the complexity of a multidimensional narrative in mind. Like, yeah, this is the big boys table. This is the big boys table. Welcome to the grown folks table. It's not that we're trying to get away from stories completely. We're wanting to write new stories, and we want to be able to sit in the complexity of a multidimensional narrative, recognizing that we've got to make room for other people to exist in our stories. And so now that we have a good understanding that shared reality does not equate to shared experience, and now that we've discovered that the official story is not always representative of the whole story, we get to embrace the challenge and privilege of writing better stories. And that's what we're going to be dealing with today. A movie that I saw a few years ago, I'm sure some of you saw it too. It was a pretty good movie, pretty decent movie. The name of it was Inception. I mentioned it last week. Do y'all remember Inception? It's a movie about a dream within a dream within a dream type of thing. It's one of those movies, but I think it's a great movie when you're just dealing with complexity. But at one point in the movie, they're in a dream, inside of a dream, and 2 of the characters are talking. And one of the characters says something, and he pulls out his little gun, and the other character pulls out a bigger gun. I think that's how it happened. I haven't seen it in a while. But he says something that has stood in my head ever since I've seen it, and that was, you mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling. And listen, for everybody who's connected to Bridge City, for everybody who's joining this community, that's what I want to tell you. You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, because the whole truth is, in order to write better stories, you're going to need to be able to dream bigger. Can you hear me? Can you hear me loud and clear? Your dreams are going to have, listen, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to dream a little bigger. And here's why, and I'm going to go ahead and drop our title right here. This is what we're dealing with today. Better stories need better storytellers. This is why I need you to be willing to dream a little bigger. Better stories need better storytellers. This is where we're going to be resting our case and ending our headcanon series today. We've talked about the stories. We've talked about the stories we've inherited. We've talked about the stories we've inhabited. We've talked about new ways to develop those stories. So now we have to talk about the role of storytellers. Most people are not only deconstructing their beliefs, they're deconstructing the story that once told them who they were, why they suffered, what they deserved, what their future meant, and who had authority over their life. The next phase is not just disbelief. And this has been a concern of mine for a very long time, is that the goal is not just to get people away from bad beliefs. You know, getting away from bad beliefs doesn't automatically give you rational standing. Getting away from bad beliefs don't necessarily give you a better life. You understand? And so the goal cannot just be, the next phase cannot just be disbelief. I no longer believe this. What do you believe now? The goal cannot just be disbelief. I no longer support this. What do you support now? The goal cannot just be disbelief. I no longer inhabit that story. That's wonderful, but what stories are you creating now? The next phase is not just disbelief. It is authorship. And that's really what this whole series is about. This whole series is about authorship, and it's about shared authorship. It's about realizing that when we were born, I've said it several times in this series, that when we were born into the collective writers table. This is shared authorship. We are writing these stories together. We are sharing this reality together. You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling. So religion gave many of us a pre-written script. Deconstructing helped us realize that script was not sacred. But reconstruction asks a much harder question. Now that you know the story was written by somebody else, what does it mean to become responsible for the story you live by? And let's sit in responsibility for a minute. What does it mean to be responsible for the story that you live by? How responsible are you with the information you run on? Back when I was coming up, we used to say, run, tell that. Go run, tell that. How responsible are you with the information that you're running with and that you're running on? Several years ago, I started challenging myself to, watch this, stop developing strong opinions about people that I didn't know personally. Anybody ever been in a phase like that before? I've shared this story a few times, but it's kind of like a pivotal moment for me. My wife and I, we got a guilty pleasure where we watch what are those shows? The reality television shows, Housewives and stuff, shows with pop stars and stuff like that. And I realized that I got to a place where I was developing some really strong feelings about some of the characters. And I had to separate myself for a while because I had to realize, like, oh, bruh, these are not fictional characters. These are real people. Yeah, these are real people. And like a fictional character, you only know through what you read. That's not how you know real people. And so me thinking that I'm watching, and y'all know it was Tiny. It was Tiny, T.I.'s wife. We used to watch The Family Hustle, which was an excellent show to me. We used to watch The Family Hustle, and I just did not like Tiny. I did not like Tiny. I had strong opinions about why T.I. should not be married to Tiny. For those of you who don't know, T.I. is a rapper. Tiny is a singer. She was in the group Escape. What I need from you is understanding. You get it. And so, like, Tiny, she a little different to me. And so every time we were watching the show, like, I just be going off, like, man, I don't like Tiny. Why is he married to her? She not good for them kids. She not good for him. And then one day, in the middle of me throwing one of my temper tantrums about this perfect stranger that I do not know, I had to sit with that, the discomfort that, dude, you have some really strong opinions about this person that you've never met. The only thing you know about this person is what you see on this half scripted show. And it's probably not a good practice. It's probably not a good practice to judge this person entirely by what you're seeing on this show, because this is not a fictional character. This is a real person. There are real consequences. And what of your opinions about this person actually helps your life or anybody else's? It doesn't. It just added unnecessary frustration to my life. So I'm sitting there mad about somebody that I don't even know. And even more importantly, they don't even know me. They don't know me. They're not going to hear none of my opinions. So several years ago, I started challenging myself to stop developing strong opinions about people that I didn't know personally. Why did you do that? Because that was my way of becoming more responsible for the story that I live in, for the information that I run on, living with the complexity of how I see other people may not be the way the people in their lives see them. Dang, this is good. This is headcanon. We're talking about headcanon. Living within multiple narratives means accepting that reality may exist independently of us, but no individual experiences narrate the whole of it. It forces us to synthesize, hold empathy for opposing truth, and understand that meaning shifts depending on who is telling the story. Okay? So watch this. I want to drop my first point. I told y'all I was going to be really talkative at the beginning, and then we're going to jump into an activity at the end. But I want to give you our first point for today's conversation, and that is better stories start with we. Better stories start with we. And I'm just going to say it one more time. Better stories start with we. One of my favorite quotes of all times comes from the Honorable El Haj Malik El Shabazz, formerly known as Malcolm Little, more popularly known as Malcolm X. Malcolm X is popularly referenced for saying this quote: When I becomes we, even illness becomes wellness. When I becomes we, even illness becomes wellness. Now, since the 80s, as far as I understand, this has become like kind of a slogan in mental health. But I wanted to kind of start with that because this is a reminder that better stories don't start with I, they start with we. It's recognizing that we hear this. I heard the Universalist Unitarians say it this way one time: there is only one life and we're all living it. Okay, better stories start with we. When I sit in the story, not just knowing how I feel, what I experience, what I've been through, but when I sit in the story, knowing that I am sharing this reality with others who are also having feelings, who have also been through some things, and who are also dealing with things in their own lives. But if we can sit at that table and say, when I becomes we. I shared this parable with you all before, and I want to share it with you again because I think this fits this so much. When I becomes we, even illness becomes wellness. I told you this story that preachers used to tell about heaven and hell. And in the story about heaven and hell, there's two guys. One is in hell and one is in heaven. And for whatever reason, they get to meet. Now, obviously, y'all know I don't believe in no heaven, no hell. I'm telling the story because it has a really good point. Just treat it like a fable and roll with me. So the guy in heaven asks the guy in hell, he says, hey, what is hell like? And the guy says, oh man, it's horrible. Like we're all sitting around a table, and the table has these big plates of food, and the food looks so delicious, but none of us can eat it because the spoons that they've given us to eat the food are way too long, so we can't feed ourselves. Now, what did I say? Better stories start with we. Now, in this story, you have the people sitting around the table and they all have long spoons, but each of them is only focused on feeding themselves. So the guy in heaven says, man, I understand that struggle. And he says, actually, heaven is the exact same. We're all sitting around a table and we all have these big, bountiful bowls of food in front of us. And we also have the problem of these spoons that are too long for us to feed ourselves. So what we do then, instead of feeding ourselves, is we feed each other. When I becomes we, even illness becomes wellness. On one side of this story, you have a group of people who are sitting in what ultimately can be synonymized with poverty. And then you have another group of people who are sitting in a situation that we can say is equated with abundance. But the difference is not the access. The difference is not what is available. The difference is how they respond. If we're all here and we're only trying to represent our solo selves, we miss the greater opportunity to grow together, to build together, to live together. And I wish I would have wore the shirt today. Ecosystems are better than echo chambers, because it's not where we come to hear what we want to hear. It's not where we come to do what we want to do, but it's where we come to work together. Dang it, I didn't mean to go through all of that. All of that is not in my notes, but I got to make this point strong. Better stories start with we, and when I becomes we, even illness becomes wellness. And so watch this. Next time you're in a situation where you're feeling a certain type of way, instead of just focusing on how did I feel about this, sit in the room and say, how did we feel? Oh man, y'all don't want to talk to me today. Better stories start with we. When I becomes we, even illness becomes wellness. The saying highlights that healing and well-being thrive on community, unity, and support, rather than going through struggles in isolation. Man, I want to go into so much West African history right here, because there's so many West African traditions that focus on the we. The we. Yes, Faye, we are all in this together. All right. So in this series, we began with the individual. We did. Because that's what we start there. We started there. We started with the individual, because religion gives you as an individual a pre-written identity that you share with others. And then deconstruction revealed that that script was human made. You start looking through that script and you're like, oh man, this ain't divine. This isn't prolific or profound. This isn't prophetic. This is pathetic. This is just human stuff, right? Deconstruction revealed that the script was human made. And then for those of us who've taken taking our deconstruction seriously, which means our deconstruction wasn't just about religion. Like for me, it wasn't just religion that I had to deconstruct. Now, this is my story. I can't tell your story, but I'm going to tell mine. And you let me know if your story has any resonance with my story. And then that's where we find the we at. But when I was going through, and I'm still deconstructing things, but when I was going through my deconversion, I realized it wasn't just religion that I needed to deconstruct. I also needed to deconstruct everything I understood about the world, because the issue wasn't just that, oh, I believed bad things about religion. The greater issue was, hey, you believe things that were not true, period. And if you believe things that are not true in one part of your life, there's probably a higher possibility that you've also believed things that were not true in other places in your life, including your politics, including your culture, including economics. And so now it was like, I have to learn. I have to walk back through everything and deconstruct. I have to question all of my confidence now. And so then reconstruction then requires you to recover authorship. And that's what allows us to get to the table of we. Because then we begin to realize, because that's the first part. The first part is we've got to get you comfortable enough picking the pen back up. Because I can get you at the story. I can get you at the table. But if I get you at the table and you're not comfortable writing your own story, you will be at the table of community still allowing other people to write your story. And when other people write your story, they can write you in it and out of it any way they choose. And at the end of the day, it stops being your story. And that's the problem that I've realized with a lot of people after years of having to counsel and do stuff like that. There's so many of us who are not even living our stories. We're not living stories we authored. We're living in the head canons of other people. You'll find this out if you ever just sit down and just kind of, and again, this doesn't apply to everybody. It's just some of us, but you'll find this out sometimes when you're wrestling with your thoughts. Why do you feel a certain way about yourself? Some of you may be struggling with feeling like you're a failure, feeling like you haven't done enough, feeling like you haven't achieved enough. But when you start asking yourself, why do I feel that way? Do I really feel that way about myself? Or am I taking somebody else's headcanon about where my life is supposed to be, and I'm making it more priority than I'm making my own authorship? So that's why our goal is to help you reclaim, come on now, the authorship of your own life, so that then you can sit at the table, because nobody writes entirely alone. My wife and I celebrated our marriage anniversary this weekend. We've been married for a very long time now, and we were going to go to the movies Friday night. And then my wife was telling me about one of the stories that I'd started working on and that she was really excited about. And she was like, maybe we need to get that story out by next year. And I said, you know what? Like, I'm that type of person. I like doing things with my family. I like doing things with my spouse. I like doing things with my kids. And so I like that. You know, me and my kids, we play poker and stuff. We have family movie night where we all sit down and just watch something together. Like, those are things that I like to do. So I said, you know what? Instead of going out to the movies on Friday night, we're gonna go out to the movies and go out to eat. I said, let's work on the story together. Let's work on the story together. And then the name of the story, working title, is Misery. It's going to be named something else. Really cool story though. But so that's what we spent our Friday night, which Friday was our anniversary. That's what we spent our Friday doing, writing a story together. Because nobody writes entirely alone. Nobody writes entirely alone. Like when I started writing books, and right now I think I have like 5 published books, and then I have several novels that I haven't released yet. But when I started writing my novels, I never intended to write any of them alone. I initially wanted them to be a part of a writing club where it would just be a whole bunch of people taking responsibility for the characters and stuff like that. I'm a really collaborative person. I like collaboration. But we sat down and we started writing the story together. That's it's going to be one of my favorite memories. And I hope we're able to finish that book so you all will see the product of it. But what you begin to realize when you're sharing your stories with other people, when you're writing stories with other people, is that our stories often overlap with other people's stories. So like sometimes we enter a room and we tend to center ourselves in ways where we don't get to interact with other stories. We present our stories as if they are the definitive version of reality, which again, the thing that I'm constantly challenging us as a community to remember is that we're all just blind people, molesting an elephant. we're blind people accosting this elephant. And the only way we're going to be able to get a better view of what we call reality is by sharing that view with others, and then also hearing the views of others. Like, what are you seeing over there? What are you feeling over there? How does this make you feel? Okay. So personal narratives are powerful because they become families, they become communities, they become institutions, they become laws, they become histories, and they become cultures. And the more something becomes embedded, the more something becomes embedded, the harder it becomes to resist as reality. Okay. And so whoever controls the dominant narrative often determines what society considers normal, possible, moral, or true. Okay. So in this series, we've discussed narrative awareness and narrative psychology in the context of narrative theory. All right. Now, I'm going somewhere with this. I told you I was going to be a little talkative. I told you. I warned you in advance. I did. Don't be mad at me. Narrative theory, or narratology, is the academic study of stories, storytelling, and how narrative structures influence human perception. It examines not only what a story is about, but how it is constructed to convey meaning, shape identity, and help audiences make sense of the world. Now, narrative theorists analyze a wide array of devices to understand how a text functions, okay? So there's narrative and perspective, and this is good. Who's telling the story? Is it a first person, I? Is it an omniscient third person, or an unreliable narrator whose truth is suspect, okay? There's also focalization. That's the lens through which events are seen, highlighting whose perspective the audience is aligned with. And then there's also time and space, how the narrative manipulates times, duration, frequency, and order, and builds the setting, also known as chronotype. So while it began, and this is where I'm zigging, where you thought I was going to zag, while it began as a tool for literature and folklore, the application of narrative theory has expanded significantly across fields. So one of the obvious places is media studies. I think we're going to be hosting a small talk or an event on the campus soon about media literacy, which I'm really looking forward to. Media studies use narrative theory and narrative analysis to analyze how films, video games, and digital media construct meaning. You know, like, and really think about that. Like, so much of what we think about what is good and what is evil is going to be based on the characters we grew up with. Okay, and that's intentional. That's intentional. That's not some sneaky thing. It's intentional. You know, I grew up in an age where children's content was supposed to be somewhat educational and stuff, and so you were supposed to be learning these things. So this is grooming a society to view things a certain way. But it doesn't just stop with children. It's also, watch this, how we view relationships, what a girlfriend or a boyfriend should be, how you should respond to a breakup, what's normal to respond to a breakup. A lot of those things are shaped and characterized not just by the stories we inherited, but also by the stories we consumed. Okay? But it doesn't just stop there. It also goes into psychology and therapy. So frameworks like narrative therapy help individuals reconstruct their personal stories to gain control over their problems. It's you sitting in the narrator chair of your own life and actually walking it through and deciding where you feel or how you feel about your character and where your character is. You know? Yeah, that Disney messaging. Oh my goodness. Like, I wanted to write a book one time about romantic fragility, romance fragility, based off of what many of us has taken from a lot of those Disney classics. And then there's society and culture, which we use this to, we use narrative analysis and narrative theory to understand how social arguments, historical accounts, and everyday conversations are structured to persuade or document. Now, Darante, why are you telling us all of this? Why is this important? Why? This is a great place to drop my second point. Are you ready? I'm telling you all of this because better doesn't happen on accident. Yes, we need better stories. We need better storytellers. We need to do a better job with the stories that we inherit and the stories that we inhabit. But here's the hard part. Better doesn't happen on accident. I think one of the biggest problems with modern society is that we are often waiting for things to happen instead of becoming the people who make things happen. Better doesn't happen on accident. I remember mentoring somebody one time, and they were saying they wanted better for their lives, and they wanted to do better. And so I'd sit down with them, and we're kind of processing what they're looking at, things they want to change. I'm trying not to use too much information, not to identify them, but walking through what decisions they've been making and what decisions they need to make. And I said, okay, so how long have you been wanting to do better? How long have you been wanting something better? And so they said, well, it's been the past 3 years when I've been really trying to do better. I said, okay, so let's look at the past 3 years, and then let's look at the 3 years before that. I got a question for you. Yes, what did you do differently in these 3 years than you did in the previous 3 years? Huh? No. That's the question. What did you do differently with these 3 years that you didn't do in the last 3 years? Well, I don't know what you mean. Well, you're telling me you want better, but you cannot get better without doing different. That was better than you. Boy, y'all weren't ready for that. Y'all weren't ready for that. No. You're telling me you want better. Like, listen to me. Everybody, lean in real quick. Lean in and look at me in my good eye. Lean in. Watch this. The moment you say, I want better, I want something better, I want to do better, then you are also saying, I want different. When you say I want to do something better, that means I need to do something different. All right. So better doesn't happen on accident. There has to be something we do different to get there. Yeah, there has to be something we do different to get there. I mean, we could sit and wait for somebody else to wake up and do it, but I just see that as just stalling the problem. Now let us go ahead and be willing to do the different, that gets us to the better. So while the major goal of this series has absolutely been to encourage us all to take more ownership in the stories we inherit and inhabit, I just love saying it that way. And I think we've done an exceptional job, if I must say so myself, and I do. But I got to fess up. I've had a hidden agenda. I've had a hidden agenda this whole series. I've had an ulterior motive this whole series. I have. I've been not only have we been effectively reclaiming our stories over the last 4 weeks, I've also been slowly making the case for the necessity of applied humanism as our professional and intentional response to the harms that have been caused by our former superstitions. If we need better narratives, watch this, we also need better narrators. Better stories demand better storytellers from within the growing number of those choosing humanity over deities should arise better curators of our stories. Oh man, I hope this is not too heavy for you. It's not just, yes, I want us all to get better at telling our stories. But please understand, if everybody could just get better by themselves without help, we would not need ecosystems. That's not how life works. And so if there's something different we want to see coming from society, if there's something better we want to see coming from society, then we need the people. We need people who are willing to be the seeds of something different in society. This is why I show up every Sunday. Okay. Narrative theory, and this is I'm telling you what the ulterior motive was. Narrative theory is one of the 8 disciplines that I associate with what I call applied humanism. Okay. Now, many of you know I'm an atheist. Bridge City is not an atheist organization. We're an organization for people. Just so happens to be founded by an atheist. And the reason it's not an atheist organization, because I'm a humanist. An atheist tells you what I am against. And then even the term humanism is somewhat limited for me. But it at least tells you that I prioritize people over politics. I prioritize humanity over divinity. Okay? And so my humanism isn't just, what I believe. Here we go. My humanism is how I help. This is where I want to get you to. This has been my hidden agenda, is to everybody can't do it. I get it. But I want to stir somebody up that says, I want to use my humanism for more than just feeling like I'm better than somebody else. I want to use my humanism to help others. And so like what I've been doing, dropping throughout this entire series of headcanon, is demonstrating the necessity for applied humanists actually out here in the field, not just talking about what we don't believe, but talking about how we do help. I do this every Sunday because it helps. It helps. Applied humanism, I've identified 8 disciplines that I think are necessary for applied humanism, for a new wave, a new generation of professionals who are in the schools, who are in our communities, who are in our hospitals, who exist for people. This is how we help. And we're going to do an activity at the end of this to walk us all through it together. But the 8 disciplines, and I'm just giving this to you now, just in case you're interested. These are also the 8 disciplines that I use to guide all of my public facing work. The 8 disciplines are sociology, psychology, anthropology, philosophy, religion, and theology. Yes, I put those in one. You cannot do this work, helping people deconstruct and reconstruct, and not have an academic, disciplined understanding of the role that religion and theology has played in human society's development. If you want to help humans, you have to help humans using the language they understand and the stories that they've lived in. It's not enough just to be able to tell you your story is not true. I also need to be able to help you understand why it felt true to you. Okay? All right, so that's sociology, psychology, anthropology, philosophy, religion and theology, communication. That should be an easy one. We have a member in our community who's actually setting up a little class, a session to do with like especially our stage hosts and stuff for those of you who want to get better at your communication, because it is something you can get better at, and it's necessary. I hate to pull the scripture, but how can they hear without a preacher? I'm sorry. No, it's necessary. We need to be able to communicate what we talk about. But then the last two disciplines, and this is last two disciplines, and this is where I've rested this series at, is narrative theory, which is the way that we tell stories, the way we inhabit stories, the way we hold stories, the way we're shaped by stories. Yes, neuropsychology is so amazing. The way we're shaped by stories, philosophy and anthropology. Oh my, anthropology is like a hidden gem, man. It is a hidden gem. I don't know why more people don't study it. But not only narrative theory, there's this last one I got to introduce to you, and sit with me for a minute. Homiletics and hermeneutics. Now, this phrasing is sometimes new for people who come from secular backgrounds. But these 8 disciplines are the things that are in my arsenal when I'm planning Sunday sessions and community strategy. So someone asked me a while back, like, dude, how did you come up with this subject for this conversation? And it just hit really well with the community for every reason. And of course, back when I was a pastor, I'd be like, oh, that was just God. But now I can actually tell you that, no, like I'm actually just using these academic disciplines to sit in the world that I inhabit, and finding a way to understand these stories, and then to recraft the narratives in ways that other people can understand them, identify with them, resonate with them, and then get something out of it that they can use to help better their lives and help strengthen their relationships with others. Because that's my philosophy, is that if we want people to live better, we have to be able to build better. And if we want to be able to build better, we have to be able to connect better. You get it? Because like if you're not connected, you can't build. You're not going to build well together if you can't connect well together. And if you can't build well together, you're definitely not going to live well together. Okay? So Sunday sessions are how we build community, or one of the ways that we build community, using communication, narrative theory, and homiletics and hermeneutics. Okay? Now, I'm going to tell you what this means. I told y'all I was going to be talkative at the beginning. This is the 4th week. I got to make it all make sense. I was going to name this one, make it make sense. But I want to give you some definitions in these things so that you kind of understand them. And you know that, Darante is not just making words up. So Sunday sessions, we're using communication, narrative theory, and homiletics and hermeneutics. That's what you're experiencing right now. Communication, narrative theory, and homiletics and hermeneutics. Communication is easy, self-explanatory. Narrative theory is what we've talked about for the first 3 weeks of this series, Head Canon, and homiletics and hermeneutics is what I do best. Okay, so hermeneutics is the study, theory, and methodology of interpretation. That's what hermeneutics is. It's the study, the theory, and methodology of interpretation. Now, this was originally focused on understanding religious and philosophical texts. Okay, there's a lot of history that gets covered under religion that actually belongs under philosophy. So many people, when you hear things that you associate with religion, you automatically say, that's a religious word. And to me, that's giving something to religion that religion did not earn. That's giving something to religion that religion does not own. And so hermeneutics originates in philosophy. Okay? It's a tool of philosophy. Now, it has expanded today into a broader study of how humans comprehend humans comprehend all forms of communication, including language, art, and cultural action. Okay? Hermeneutic principles are heavily utilized across several fields. Now, the one that's easy to know is obviously biblical and theological studies, which is focusing on the guidelines and frameworks used to accurately interpret scripture, ensuring its original meaning is properly conveyed. This is where I got introduced to hermeneutics. That is going through training to be a pastor and learning how to interpret scripture. But the funny thing is, hermeneutics in religion doesn't work, because the whole idea of hermeneutics is to try to get a better understanding of the meaning of something. All right, so it's used also to interpret law in the original intent of historical legal text, such as the constitutions or statutes, or even down to modern day cases. This is much harder than religion, because religion interpretation is denominational, doctrinal, not historical. Interpretation is not based in any historical context. It is filtered through doctrine. Okay? But in philosophy, hermeneutic principles explores the fundamental conditions of human understanding, examining how our biases and traditions influence our perception of the world. Do you see that's what we do on Sundays now? You see, what we're doing on Sundays is we're using the art of communication and the principles of hermeneutics to help to explore the fundamental conditions of human understanding. We're confronting our biases. We're confronting our traditions. We're confronting how our perspectives influence our perception of the world. Now that's hermeneutics. Homiletics, all right? Thank you, is the application of the traditional elements of communal address to secular environments like corporate leadership, public activism, education, and modern TED-style talks. I almost said TED. Modern TED-style talks. That's homiletics. It is literally the application of traditional elements of communal address to secular environments. Now, this is not new. Hip-hop uses homiletics, okay? One of the things that hip-hop was birthed out of was the homiletics of call and response. Call and response. I say, you say. I say, you say. You know, the roof is on fire. Somebody else says, we don't need no water, let the money. Say, hey, hey, ho, 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 ho. Call and response. This is the application of traditional elements of communal address and just bring it into secular environments. Okay? So this is what I do every Sunday and occasionally on Wednesdays. And this is what I'm looking for others to do, is to take some of those traditional elements of communal address. This is how we talk in groups. And this is why homiletics is not restricted to religion. Comedians do homiletics. They're really good at it. They're also exceptionally good at hermeneutics. Like, yeah, they're crazy. Okay, so now that we reclaim the pen, what kind of stories are we responsible for writing? And who will help communities live inside those new stories? See, a lot of things we're expecting, like we want more people to deconstruct and to deconvert. And honestly, I'm gonna be very real with you. That's not necessarily a healthy desire. I know it. It makes I just want everybody to stop believing bullshit. Yeah. I know it. And that's a good thing to want, but it becomes problematic when that's what you want for somebody else, especially when you think about all the things you could have wanted. So if you had to choose, and you don't, I'm being a little pedantic, but if you had to choose between what you could want for somebody. Would you want them to stop believing something that you don't no longer believe, or would you want them to have a better life? Do you see what I'm highlighting here? Okay, so no, I'd absolutely love a world where more people left religious superstition and religious dogma and political superstition. I'd absolutely love to see that world. But if that is my guiding light, then I'll likely never get there. But if I want to see a world where people are able to connect better, build better, and live better, I'll have a higher probability of getting to the outcome of people being willing to step away from bad beliefs. Because the middle question that you have to ask, if the thing that you want, and you're like, no, Darante, I really want that. Okay, fine. If you really want that, the question has to become, where is it going to happen at? Yeah, no. I want people who are Christians to stop believing in Jesus and in God. Where can they go to safely go through that process? See, better doesn't happen on accident. It happens, okay. My community, the US was hit by the crack epidemic in the 80s and the 90s. Okay? In the 2000s, some communities in the East Coast were hit with the opioid epidemic. Those of us who have sociological inclinations were highly interested in comparing and contrasting how a country responded to the crack epidemic and how a country responded to the opioid epidemic. Okay? All right? Crack epidemic, we said, we want people to stop doing drugs. We want people to stop doing crack. People need to stop doing crack. Huge campaigns. Just say no. This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. A lot of that. You need to stop. You need to stop. Druggies are bad. Crack is bad. It's going to make you do stuff. That was the messaging. Okay? The opioid epidemic had a much different lens of messaging. And it was, you need help. You need places where you can recover. You need places where you can be rehabilitated. You need a community that can support you through this addiction. Okay? Two different approaches. Now, both approaches had their problems, but one was more humane. One was more focused on people getting better. The other one was only focused on people not doing what we don't want them to do. And I feel that in many secular spaces, we're making the same mistake. People can't come to a rehab that you don't have. If I have to be you to even be welcomed in the room, then it's not a safe space for me to come in. Dang, this is good, man. Dude, this is good. Yes, both are cases of self-medication responses to reality. And so we have to stop treating people like they're just stupid. And we have to stop treating people like they're just dangerous. And we have to stop treating people like they're just misguided. And we have to start creating systems and places where they can, where they can work on themselves while being surrounded by support. So this is one of the reasons why Bridge City is not an atheist institution. I want Christians to join Bridge City. I want Muslims to join Bridge City. I want them to see what community can look like without having to be predicated on what you believe. Because that gives them a safe space to deal with their beliefs. They can't do it at church. So at church, they're forced to believe. And then in our spaces, they're forced not to believe. So where do they go just to figure things out? Take them to the bridge, you know? Ooh. I hope this is helping. Most of this stuff is not even in my notes. Socialist, I love it. I love it. Applied humanism is not merely a philosophy people privately adopt after religion. It must become a discipline of creating meaning, interpreting experience, and building humane communities. It won't just happen because we want it to. We've actually got to do the work that makes it so. We've got to do the work. We can't just sit here. This is not going to be like the Wizard of Oz and Dorothy comes out and pours some water on the wicked witch of whichever side of town she's from, and then we all get to come out because ding dong, the witch is dead. And most of us are approaching society that way. We're approaching society from the standpoint that someday somebody's going to kill the big bad wolf, and then we can all come out. Then we can all finally live. Bridge over troubled water. Come on now, take us to church. But the reality is, if we want to see a world with better outcomes, then we have to put in different incomes. Religion did not maintain its influence simply by making theological arguments. No, that's not how religion got popular. I didn't want to become a preacher because his talkings about God were so convincing. That's not why I wanted to be a preacher. That's not why I ever wanted to be a pastor. That's not why I ever wanted to do anything with Christianity. It was never about the arguments of Christianity. It was about the brand of Christianity. The brand of Christianity was we help poor people. The brand of Christianity was we build orphanages. The brand of Christianity is if your loved ones are dying or you're going through a grieving process, you can call on us. The brand of Christianity was if there's shooting in the neighborhood, if there's violence, we're going to come together and do some bullshit, but we're going to come, you know? No, it was the brand that was attractive to a young African-American child. The brand that says, if you want to help your community, this is the venue that you do it. Where are secular people offering those similar opportunities? I get concerned when the only thing we know how to do is pick up a pitchfork. I was about to cuss. I can cuss. Put the fucking pitchfork down, and pick up a shovel. Pick up a hammer. Because for those of us that are coming into this space, what we're realizing is that there's not enough for the people who are actually coming in this space, which means there's no real incentive. Why should I leave the security and comfort of my religion and culture just to be miserable with you? Show me something worth leaving for. Our job as humanists, and this is why I'm talking about you pitchfork, yes, yes. But our job as humanists, we should be giving them something to talk about. We should be, people should be banging down the door to get into Bridge City. It's like finally a place where I can just be me and grow at my pace in an atmosphere where they're doing their best to make sure it is safe, sound, secure, and soft. We can't gatekeep what everybody believes, but we can gatekeep what gets shared on our public platforms. We can make sure that, like if you notice, I try my best not to share anything as an authority, because we're really working hard to build something that's not hierarchical, that's not authoritative. Man, tripped up my tongue, right? That was a good one. All right. So listen, religion did not maintain its influence. See, now I'm thinking about Spider Ham. What's his name? Spider Ham, Spider Pork, whatever his name is. And I'm there now. Peter Porker. Oh. Religion didn't maintain its influence by making theological arguments. It trained narrators, interpreters, preachers, teachers, ritual leaders, and story keepers. And I'd be lying to you. Spider Pig, yes. And I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you flat out that is my goal. My goal isn't to be leading Sunday sessions every Sunday. If that's the case, then I'm not really doing my job, and I need to get on my job. My job is raising an entire generation of people who want to do this, who wake up in the morning and say, I want to be of value to my fellow humans, that I want to help them for those who are grieving. I want to help them for those who are deconstructing. I want to help them for those of them who are trying to find a way to live their life without holding on to superstition. That's what I want to see. I want to see people who are, one of the things that I absolutely miss about church, something that I haven't seen as much of since I left, was coming into contact with people who genuinely wanted to make the world a better place. They had like ridiculous ways of going about it. You know, if I just pray 48 hours for, you know, like type of things, but they were genuinely interested in helping people on the streets. They were genuinely interested in adopting the schools that weren't performing well. They were genuinely interested in going into the prisons and helping people. That's not something I'm willing to let go of. That's who I am. That's why, full disclosure, that's why I don't sit at a lot of atheist tables. Because it's not who I am. I'm not here to be the smartest guy in the room. I'm here to be a helping hand. And that's what I want to see out of this. Man, Bridge City can grow by thousands. But if it's only me who's picked up this role to speak and to support and to build, then it's nothing more than a personality cult. And I am uninterested in that. I will go live in a hut by my damn self before I let that happen. Because I'm in this for a reason. And I've been very clear. My kids have to live in this world. And then they're going to have kids. And they have to live in this world. For me as a parent, I cannot fathom being here this long and not doing something that's going to at least help make sure that my kids are in a better place when I leave. That this world is a better place because of the work that I did. When Malcolm X died, his last words to one of his closest companions was, "Do your best work." And that's where I've kind of set myself in my life. Okay, so humanity cannot adequately respond by producing only skeptics and critics. I want to challenge you all in everything. I want to challenge us all in everything to get curious before you get critical. We also need people capable of helping people interpret their lives, understand their experiences, mark important moments, build community, and imagine better futures. One of the roles that we lose when we lose what we used to call preachers is affordable and accessible help. You know, preachers absolutely should not be therapists. They should absolutely not be legal professionals unless they are legal professionals. They really shouldn't be running rehab programs unless they have certified people doing them. But preachers and the communities that support them become a bridge of access and availability to those resources that many people cannot get on their own. And then when we get on our high horse of being better because we don't believe the bullshit, but when they can be on our side, they can be in our camp, but when they need to eat, it's not us that they go to be fed. When they need help with their utility bills, it's not us that they come to for that help. That's where we're missing the mark. Humanism shouldn't be defined by just what we're fighting against. It should be defined by what we're fighting for. what we're building and who we're building it for, how we're building it. Religion has specialized in giving us a story to live in. It has specialized in telling us who the characters of the stories are. When previous generations called on preachers, they were often calling on people who would make their lives make sense in the religious narratives they were most familiar with. And I realized that doesn't just stop at religion. We often send our children to schools to be educated in what we already understand. We vote for politicians who represent the stories we already inhabit. We hold legislators accountable to the stories of yesterday. It has often been said in the court of law that the one who wins is not the one with the better evidence, but the one with the better story. We have been conditioned to live in what was written. Okay? That's why you don't feel comfortable writing your own story. You've been predispositioned to not picking up the pen. You've grown comfortable living in what was previously determined, narrated, and legislated. We've trusted others to be our story keepers and to groom our storytellers. It's not enough to reject the stories that harmed us. We must develop people and communities capable of telling larger, truer, and more humane stories. Not someone who fabricates comforting narratives, but someone who helps people make meaning without surrendering their reality. Which leads me to my last point, and then we're going to do this activity together. Okay? Better is what we do together. It's what we do together. The central problem is not simply that people are afraid to write their own stories. It's that we've been trained to believe that legitimate stories must come from an authorized narrator, whether that authorized narrator was God, scripture, clergy, tradition, schools, political parties, courts, media, or even inherited culture. But now we're learning how to stop confusing previously authorized with permanently authoritative. You inherited stories you did not write. You survived stories that made you smaller. You learned that the narrator was not always reliable. And so now the hard work is reclaiming authorship and building spaces that help us craft, cultivate, and grow in bigger stories. And this brings us to our activity of the evening before we close. And we're going to do what applied humanist would do. If we get this stuff off the ground and you become an applied humanist, these are the type of questions you're going to have to wrestle with. And we're going to do this activity together so that we can get an understanding of what it is that we're talking about, because so many of this stuff flies under the radar. So I'm going to provide a situational scenario, and we're going to go through each one and workshop as a community 3 things, all right? The 3 things that we're going to workshop are: what is the inherited script? What is the human need? And what is the better story? I'm going to give you the scenario, and then we're going to talk about it in chat. I'm going to leave this up the whole time so you can see the questions, and I'm going to come back over here on the chat. All right. And let me see here. Before I pick a scenario, I do want to say, don't begin by asking what is the secular version of the religious practice. That's an easy trap to fall into. Don't do that. Don't look for the secular version of the religious practice. Begin by asking, what does the person actually need? And so let's start with, and I should have did this in advance, but I didn't make up my mind if I was going to do it or not. So I'm going to do it now. I'm going to add this as a banner, and then we'll look at it together. Bam. Someone has lost a loved one. That's where we're starting at. Jalapeno. Someone has lost a loved one. What is the inherited script? If someone calls you and just says, hey, my dad just died, or my grandmother just died, or a child just died, what is the inherited script? What are people normally going to hear? What are people normally going to be told? And let's workshop this. This is our activity. If you showed up, you showed up to share. So we're in this one together. Yep. Thank you. Thank you. They're in a better place. They're in a better place. Come on, let's see some more. Someone has lost a loved one. Okay, I'm so sorry. My condolences. Okay, yep. They're in heaven. They're in heaven. Sorry for your loss. Yes. How do you comfort that person? You know? And honestly, this one I struggled with as a pastor. You'll see them again. Come on now. What's this? Yeah. God knows what he's doing. That's the story, right? Come on now. We need to ease their suffering, mitigate their pain, offer them comfort, and tell them sorry and find a way. I love that. Yes. Come on now. He and your mom are back together. Wow. It was their time. Yep. Man, y'all are doing so good. Y'all are doing so good. I'm praying for you. Come on now. They're still around when you live your life watching with pride. This is good. Okay. So now let's shift. We've all kind of wrestled with the inherited script. What is the human need? What does a person actually need? And for that, I want you to sit with yourself. Most of us have lost someone at some point in time. What did you need in that moment? And listen, notice I'm saying need, not want. It's a deeper question, right? There are things that we want, but let's see if we can get into the need. Let's see if we can get into the need. The need is a safe place emotionally and physically while they grieve. I love that. Grief is multifaceted. Absolutely. Jump the gun. No, you did great. It came in at perfect time. Empathy. Yes. Understanding, really. Yeah, man. Yes. Ooh, the need can really vary, but yes, Jude, come on now. Yes. What I needed was to be left alone to process. Oh, this is so good. All right. Okay. This is like, I got chills on that one. It's not just pain. Those we are grieving need someone who is present, someone who listens without offering help. Maybe they need what we all need at that time, understanding. The need is often finances. It can't make you happy, but it can solve a lot of problems and free way to, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. Like if my mother had just died and I called somebody and I was like, hey, my mom just passed away. Darante, I'm gonna pay your rent for the next 6 months. I feel much better. You know, like it's a joke, but it's a good one. All right. Man, I just lost my dog this week. It absolutely counts. What I needed most is just to be accepted in my grief. Yes, man. One of our other members lost a dog this week too, and that just kind of hurt my heart. They need to be allowed to grieve in peace. Man. All right. So y'all, this is incredible. Y'all are literally on it. But I think we just and this is rewriting the script. This is the same thing we'd put somebody through if we were training them to be an applied humanist. We'll just call it a licensed applied humanist, licensed humanist practitioner. There we go. Yeah. An LHP. I like that. So maybe, and this is one of the reasons I'm calling this out. Maybe the starting place has to be, because the thing that the inherited script does, the inherited script positions you to assume the need before you've asked the need. And I think that was one of the things that I got so free from when I deconverted, is that I no longer have to assume what other people need. Because it was a struggle, because if you've ever had to comfort someone who's lost a loved one, the thing that you're afraid of is saying the wrong thing, is doing the wrong thing, you know? And I think in those moments, we have to be more honest with ourselves and say, I actually don't know what to say right now. And watch where I'm taking that. I don't know what to say because I don't know what will help. And since I don't know what to say and I don't know what will help, why don't I just ask them? is that too much? No, can I just ask them, what do you need from me right now? You know? And there are ways to do that. I'm not even saying that's the best way all the time, because sometimes that even puts too much pressure on people. But rewriting the script and changing the way we approach this really means not just going with what we've done before. It really means thinking about what we do and how we do it. And this isn't just with deep stuff. Me and Ashley, our head of community, was talking about this a few weeks ago about, and I think I've mentioned it in a few of our sessions, that we as humans, we have a habit of saying stuff we don't mean quite often. And an easy one is just saying like, hey, how are you doing? Well, that word is an invitation. That sentence is an invitation to a conversation. But in most cases, if you walk and say, hey, how you doing? And somebody say, hey, man, I'm so glad you asked. You know what? Like 3 weeks ago, I started getting this bad toe ache, and things just gone downhill since there. And then like you be like, whoa, bro, what are you doing? But it was what you invited. And so we were sitting down, we were talking through it, and it was like, that's something we can literally just change what we say. Instead of saying, hey, how are you doing? We can say, hey, nice to see you. Nice to be seen, type of thing. Yes. And it's the same thing when assisting others, when supporting others. A lot of times we have our go-to responses in how we support. Instead of asking the other person, what do you need? And not even just asking, and sometimes you paying attention to them, Okay, let's try another one. I'm gonna grab another one. Okay. Bam. Because these are the things that preachers, oh, dang it. Dude, you are Z, you're awesome, dude. You're awesome. I'm over here getting ready to copy and paste, and it's already here. You're awesome. Hey, look, y'all are watching. Y'all don't know anything that's going on backstage, but Z just blew my mind. Like, damn, thank you, dude. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh man, this is incredible. All right, so I'm gonna pick one of these, and let's do this one. Celebrating a marriage or a partnership. What's the inherited script? Someone comes to you and tells you, hey, I'm getting ready to get married. I'm getting ready to have a partnership. What is the inherited script? Because mind you, these are things that people normally go to preachers for. And they're not just going to preachers because going to preachers is the thing to do. They're going to preachers because there's nobody else who does those things, which I will give kudos to the secular community, to humanists for a long time, is that is an area that we've stepped up in chaplaincy or celebrancy. But when someone is getting ready to get married, what is the inherited script? This is good. The voice of God is upon us. I like that. Man. Yeah, congrats. I guess to congratulate them. Love is forever, lifelong journey. Yep. Some people, I'm going to give you some of the inherited scripts that would have come from me as a former preacher. Marriage is a serious thing, man. It's ordained by God. You can't take it lightly. This is a to death do you part situation. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah. Your life as a free man is over. Y'all are hilarious. Yeah. Tell people getting married, we tell them, hey, this is going to be, you're making this commitment forever. No, I say, why? Y'all are too much. Okay. So for those of you who have been married, what is the human need when you're getting ready to make a decision to get married? What's the human need there? You're going to talk, hey, I'm thinking about marrying an old girl. I'm thinking about marrying an old dude. I'm thinking about marrying them. What do you need from others when you're sharing that you're getting ready to get married for all time and all eternity. Like, man, I remember my first marriage, like the year I deconverted, my mentor told me that, and he meant well, I'm sure, but I was telling him, I was having some issues with my marriage. And, he was asking me the inherited script, especially for Black churches. Did she cheat on you? And if she didn't cheat on you, and these were his words, God isn't giving you a right to divorce her. And I was like, dang, well, God don't have to live with her though, bruh. So I don't know what to say. And that divorce went ahead and happened. But there's so many inherited scripts in our society about marriage, about romance, about partnership. And now I've realized, like when people come to me about their marriages and stuff like that, I no longer have the inherited script. Kind of like the first, I no longer assume anything about them. I don't need marriage to be forever. Y'all might be about to have 5 really good years and then peace out after that and just be like, hey, that was fun. It was fun. I'm gonna pick another one. Oh, let's do this one. Creating accountability after harm. All right. So let's just say you have a friend that was just severely harmed in some type of way that's severe to you. What's the inherited script? What do we normally tell somebody after they've dealt with some type of harm? What's the inherited script? And I can tell you, this is one of the places that we often fail the most. But even the preachers didn't, like, preachers barely got anything right, but they definitely didn't get this one right. That's it. I was looking for it. We have to forgive and move past this. I was looking for it. Yes. Religion has taught us that if something doesn't last forever, it's not real. And that's so sad. Like, that is, man, get over it. Yep. I saw that from 2 people. Yep. Get over it. Man. It's an opportunity to warn people about red flags. That is so good. Come on now. Feel like I've wasted 12 years of my life. Like, that hurts. Man. All things happen for a reason. Like, yeah, this is the inherited script. All right. Now, let's talk. What is the human need after someone has experienced harm? Oh, yes. Come on. God has a plan for you. God has a plan for you. He knows what's best. What's the human need after someone has experienced harm? And this is real because, like, there's no way around it. Like, you live long enough, you're gonna be harmed. You're gonna meet someone who is harmed, and so there really needs to be real conversations on how we approach harm. I love it. Come on now. Wasted 5, man. I wasted 8 in my first one. Understanding, yes. Compassion, yes. Comfort, yes. A pathway to healing. Do y'all notice that one of the things that continues to show up is understanding? What I need from you is understanding. That's the role of applied humanism. Is injecting some understanding into the situation. That I'm not here to narrate your life. I'm here to help you understand your life. In so many small ways, we take the voice of others. Rewriting the script is learning how to sit with people in their discomfort and help them find comfort. The inherited need, the human need, is understanding, it's compassion, it's empathy, and it's accountability. And watch this. if we can't be empathetic, there's a quote that we used to say in the churches that I was a part of, that information brings obligation. And people who have been harmed probably know that better than most, because we live in a society that when you've experienced harm, it's such an uncomfortable topic that we prefer you just not talk about it. Hey, this is a real issue. It's a real issue. You talking about the harm you experienced in this society makes you a problem maker. You're stirring up trouble, which is why accountability is so hard. Because as soon as I hear that somebody that I might like, or that is attached to a group that I support, is possibly the perpetrator, I'm uninterested in hearing any more about it, because information just might bring obligation. Okay. All right, let's do one more and then we'll move on. Let's do one more. Dang it, we might have to do two more. Someone is marking a major transition, major life change. It could be death. It could be the loss of a career. What's the inherited script that we normally go for? And this is not the funeral per se, you know? This is just them sitting with it. Marking death, transition, or major life change. This is good. Retirement. Yes, I could use some of that. Everything happens for a reason. Just trust God. You see how much you see how much of our humanity has been infused with religious headcanon, so that even when it comes to just relating to each other and sitting with each other, it's becoming a new muscle for us to exercise. Ooh, I know. Yeah, have a party where everybody politely acknowledges you. Yeah. And you know, I realize people do that too. Like there's I can't remember the name of this movie, but Jason Bateman is in it, Adam Driver is in it, Tina Fey is in it, a bunch of funny people. And in the movie, I didn't grow up Jewish, so I don't know if this is a real Jewish custom or not, but if it is, it's pretty damn cool. But after someone dies, the patriarch of the family dies, the family have to come and sit at the house like every day for a whole week, and neighbors and friends come visit them and say stuff to them, you know. It sounds really bad the way that I explained it, but it looked really cool. Like it was just like, man, this would be nice. I don't have like a family like that. My family was dysfunctional, so we never had anything like that. But sitting Shiva, okay, so it is a real thing. Yeah. And to me, that was like a really beautiful thing. It wasn't it wasn't necessarily religious in nature, but of course it was a part of the religious culture. And I'm like, these are things that we don't have to just submit to religion. We don't do these things because of superstition. We do these things because they're ways of connecting. And I caution us as those of us who are non-believers and are seculars and are secular people, I caution us not to throw out ritual, not to throw out connection, not to throw out the things that actually help us connect better. Because if we cannot connect better, y'all listen to me, trust me, like I come from a family who could not connect. A family that cannot connect is a family that cannot build. If we cannot connect better, we cannot live better. Okay? All right, I got one more. This is the last one. How do you support someone who feels purposeless? And in our line of work, we're going to run into a lot of this. Many people, when they deconvert, they go into nihilism. They say, well, if I wasn't designed and created and there's not a plan, then life has no meaning. I don't know how, but I didn't go through the nihilistic phase. It did not hit me. But I have friends who did, and it's hard. But I had plenty of experience as a pastor in this realm. It is a tough one, isn't it? Like someone, like, because there's nothing in my atheist bag of tricks that I'm going to be able to use. I'm going to have to reach into my humanism for this answer. To be able to help somebody who feels purposeless. But what's the inherited script that we normally go to with that, though? Someone said, I just don't feel like I have a purpose. When I was coming up, it would have been, we just need to pray about it. Just trust God and he'll show you your purpose. Which is probably why so many people do feel purposeless, when the only way to find purpose prior to deconstruction was through God. You know? Model a working path. Come on now. That's some good stuff. Oh, I want to hear it then. I like different answers. Let's get them out there. You know, what's the inherited script? What's the human need? What's the better story? I like that. Like, you have to make your, like, that's how I live my life. Like, and I know that's not because I know we live in a multiverse of madness. I know that may be easy for me. You know, I think me and Ashley seem to be very similar there. Like, if I want to do it, it's my purpose. My purpose is what I want to do at this time. You know? Worked until it didn't work. Come on now. Encouragement, support, and connection. Because I'm going to tell you something. And I could be wrong. I could be. But I think most people experiencing a purpose problem are actually experiencing a partner problem. I think for people, when people are struggling with purpose, and that's why I like this answer so much. I'm gonna highlight it again. I gotta highlight it again. Encouragement, support, and connection. That's the human need of the purpose question. Okay. And so if I'm feeling, oh damn, I feel like this is deep. If we had somebody playing the piano right now, we was in the same room, everybody would be crying after this next one. But if we're in a place where we're not feeling our purpose, or we don't feel like we have a purpose, I think what we're really communicating is that we don't feel encouraged, that we don't feel supported, and that we don't feel connection. I think what we're really communicating when we say, I don't feel like I have a purpose, or I feel purposeless, I think what we're communicating sometimes is I feel unappreciated. And so I think that purpose problem could very well be a partnership problem. You need better partners. Your partners will help you see your purpose. Your partners, oh man. Ooh, I love it. Oh, you wouldn't be here if you didn't have purpose. I've heard that before. Yes. Freedom to write your own story. That's where I live. Where they finding purpose through God, are focusing on the God. Oh man, focusing on God, the purpose. I like that. They are experiencing paralysis. Yes. Thank you for having this conversation. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for being a part of this conversation. Like this is what makes this community great. My best stab at it has been to remind how much others mean to me, or their caring actions. And so we can be confident that we can be meaningful to others through our caring actions. That is absolutely beautiful. I just heard a ringing. Oh man. And to remember that things don't need to last forever to have a purpose or be meaningful. See, y'all are preaching. Y'all are preaching. This is applied humanism. Just being is enough. Come on. You are enough. Patience when someone has become so cynical that they struggle to trust attempts to connect. Not giving up when they don't immediately love everything about you. Oh, that's so good. Damn, that's so good. Not giving up when they don't love everything about you. Whew. Right here, right now, is where it's all happening. It's where it's all happening. Y'all, this. Are we? That's right. Y'all are preaching better than I'm responding. Come on now. Come on now. Oh, man. And so the work that we do together now, the challenge that we have is recognizing that this series about headcanon wasn't just about telling better stories for ourselves. It's also realizing how we're all impacted by these stories together, and that people are having to put their stories back together. And if we're here and if we care, then they shouldn't have to do it alone. That's what community is for. But that means that we need people across the aisle, man. We need people across the aisle. We need people helping doing the small things, and we need people helping doing the big things. We need more people doing this thing that I'm doing right now. You don't even got to be doing it for Bridge City. That ain't even my goal. I mean, that'd be a wonderful goal, but I'd be absolutely honored, flabbergasted, through the roof excited if somebody saw our Sunday sessions and says, I love everything about that except him. And then they started doing it in their own city and their own YouTube page. I'd be absolutely excited, because that's the goal. People need support, and better stories need better storytellers. And so now you have the opportunity, to recover the pen, but the goal is not to replace one narrow story with another. It is to make room for a bigger story, which means questioning our assumptions. It means realizing how we're all impacted by the inherited script and how we can easily just get right back into it. A bigger story can hold what happened to you without making it your entire identity. A bigger story can hold the perspectives of others without treating every perspective as equally accurate. It can hold the complexity without abandoning moral judgment, uncertainty without returning to superstition, meaning without inventing divine authority, individuality without forgetting community. You're not merely the author of your own life. You're also a supporting character in other people's lives. You're a narrator within your community and a contributor to the stories future generations will inherit. But not only do we need you to reclaim the pen of your life, we need people committed to helping others do the same. It won't just happen on accident. It won't just happen because we want it to happen. It won't just won't happen because we know it needs to happen. It only happens when we actually sign up to say, hey, I'll try this. I'll make it happen. And that's why we're building community. That's why we still show up on Sundays. I don't need a God or a scripture for people to matter enough for me to sacrifice a little bit of my time to share something that is helpful. I don't need a dogma for that. I don't need a deity. I don't need divinity. Humanity is enough. It's the people. And because people matter, we need people who are committed and commissioned to do more than just tell us what yesterday's stories got wrong. We need people who are committed to helping us write and tell better stories. And if you don't feel compelled or ready to be one of the storytellers on the front lines, that's okay, because your support is still vital. It is still necessary. It is still needed. You may not be ready to learn to lead from the front, but you can lead by showing up and participating, showing others that you're here for it. And sometimes just being in the chat makes it easier for somebody else to be in the chat. You may not be ready to lead from the front line, but you can lead by volunteering in ways that move the mission forward and make it possible for even more people to find the community. You can lead with rational generosity. And I want to make that clear. We practice rational generosity at Bridge City. Give what you can, when you can, according to your choice, according to your capacity, and according to what you would like to see this mission do. But don't you ever overextend yourself. That's bad math. It's bad economics. We won't be a stronger community for it. But that is one of the many ways you can help lead. You can lead by helping, by practicing rational generosity, by giving into the vision so that we can be focused and funded. Because the truth of the matter is there may be somebody out there who's been watching these Sunday sessions and say, I really want to do this. I want to do this. I want to help spread this type of message. I want to be this type of support for people, but I don't have the training. I don't have the education, and I don't have the access. But if we have members who are practicing rational generosity, we can create the training. We can create the access. We can create the scholarships, because it won't just happen on accident. We don't do Sundays to hear magical words. We do Sundays for critical engagement with the conversations that move us forward, edify the people, and make life worth living. That's where applied humanism becomes necessary. It's the answer to the question, who will help humanity tell stories when the gods are no longer holding the pen? This series has become less about changing the story in your head and more about building the human capacity to tell stories worthy of the world that we are trying to create. And if that's something that excites you, then I want to invite you to join our community. The link is on the screen, bridgecity.app/hello. When you join our community, you will join our global campus. We will invite you into a group chat where you will be able to ask any questions to me, to our leaderships, people in the chat. You'll be in there for the whole month. And you're going to ask all your questions. We'll help you get through onboarding. We'll help you introduce yourself on the campus, get to know the campus. We have 2 easy courses for you to take. They are free. This is not a money grab. This is not a money grab. If it was, we're doing it wrong. But these are free courses, and they exist to help you learn more about this community and become a part of the community. And we'd love to extend that. This is not a community just to consume content. This is a community to get involved and to collaborate on the things that are important to you, to do the things that make you come alive, the things that make you feel like you are doing something to help the world that we share. And that's really what Bridge City exists for. It's to help humanity connect better, build better, so that we can all live better. Thank you for being a part of today's Sunday sessions. Again, if you're looking for a community that meets regularly, and we do, and connects on purpose, join Bridge City today. And of course, if you want to continue today's conversation, come hang out with us for coffee hour, which we'll be doing immediately after the global campus ends. All right, so I said that wrong. Immediately after the stream ends, we'll be doing coffee hour. So you can jump on over there. I'll try to put up the QR code if I have it, but you jump on over there and you enjoy and you join us, and we'll have a wonderful conversation. That's all I have for y'all today. Thank y'all for being a part of this amazing community. Make sure you show somebody some love in the chat and really thank them and appreciate them for being here, because that's really what makes this community. I know y'all are gonna get tired of seeing me up here after a while. And so eventually, as our community continues to grow, you're gonna see other people coming up and sharing. I felt like Z had something.
I do. I got something. This is the voice of God, people. Since we got so many people on the in the chat right now, and we're about to close this out, if you would all please wish Darnea and Darante a happy anniversary in the chat. That would be friggin' phenomenal. The voice of God has spoken. Goodbye.
Oh man, like y'all are.
Do it now.
That is beautiful. Like I did not expect that. There's a tear forming in my eye now. Like, and really, y'all, those are the small things about community. You lose so much when you deconstruct your life. You lose a lot, and some of the stuff you lose is illusionary. I lost family that I didn't really have, and so it's incredible for me to be building a community with basically strangers who actually see me, and they see my wife, and they see my kids, and they see us as people. And that feels incredible. So thank you all. Thank you, Z. Why the fuck you got me crying at the end of this? Man, you're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do this. I'm not crying. You are. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Now let me stop. All right, that's all I have for y'all today. Thank y'all for being here. Until next time, keep rising, and we'll catch you over in coffee hours.
Thank you, Darante and everyone, and good morning, Jude.
Good morning. That was a great session.
I know I say this every time, but I really am excited about this one. I feel like it's probably going to be my favorite one. I think I say that every session. I think I do. But
I love the reciprocity series, the NSFW series. Like, we've got some really good topics going on. It's really, really fantastic.
But headcanon allows me to wear my cape. I mean, come on. I'm going to bring that out. Now, you guys have already seen what our clubs are doing if you caught the intro. So if you get a chance to join our campus, you can be part of a great projects like you see with the Bridge Builders song, as well as our newest edition. You guys heard me talking about this, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? Time flies. But you guys talked about coffee hours that came up. It's a thing now. So please,
it's a thing now.
Right? So please join us on the campus after the stream ends. Not now. Give it a moment. But after the stream ends, to continue this discussion. I'm actually really excited about this. So again,
yeah, this is fun.
Right? If these conversations help you find language to talk about these things, if you're looking for a post-religious community, and remember, we're trying to build something that's safe, sound, soft, and secure. Come on in. We're all trying to think honestly here without shame and find a place to connect, build, and live better.
Yes. Absolutely. And that's honestly, that's what we're all about. Like, we have I'm looking forward to the coffee hour personally, because like getting a chance to like sit down, discuss things, talk things out after it. It makes, and it also gives you a kind of a touch point to kind of get to know people in the community. I mean, you mentioned the Bridge Builders project we've got going on. If anybody is interested in participating in that, that's going to be actually an ongoing project for a little while, just because we've had so much interest in it. So it's going to go well. It's going to expand well past the Sunday sessions for this month. So I'm pretty stoked about where that's going to go.
Oh, someone was asking, when does the cartoon come out? I feel like it was Captain, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I was just like, are we going to do a cartoon? Like, is this going to happen?
I mean, like my brain has been conjuring images of like graphic novels and stuff. So I mean, like, we'll see. We're gonna see how far this goes, because like we've got some really talented people who are interested in developing this idea.
And what you guys have done in this last month has been amazing. I'm excited to see more of it. And that kind of brings me to, with everything we're doing, it always takes support. Now, support can look in a lot of ways, but in order to give support, we need support. So as always, we have Giving Tuesdays, the second Tuesday of the month, and we invite your generosity. It's not about guilting anyone. We've talked about this before. This is really about supporting the mission and being able to have resources to grow and keep building these bridges that allow us to do not only great projects, but good, create connection, and keep our community accessible and sustainable, and being able to continue to scale and grow as we continue this worldwide community that we're building.
Yeah, and we have a lot of ideas and visions for like where we want Bridge City to grow. When we're starting small, we want to encourage people to set up local watch parties.
Yes.
Create local meetups, community events. But overall, we want to kind of encourage people to move from isolation into association, because we want to create a place where it's not only encouraged, but safe for people to kind of break out, or people who have been sucked into these kind of echo chambers a little bit, to kind of poke their heads out and see what else is out there, see what else other people in it, in an area where they're not going to be shamed for having a different opinion.
And that's actually something I would say that I feel like we do really well here at Bridge City is we are not all going to think one-to-one on the same. We're not all saying come here for some religious reward or supernatural cohesion. Like, realistically, it's us all being humans and finding things to connect on. And there's be some things we disagree on, but that is the beauty of the community, is that you can have your beliefs challenged in a respectful way and actually think and explore diverse perspectives, explore where, well, I'll get to the questions in a moment, but where you may have gaps in your knowledge base kind of thing. So really, if you can support the community, if you can show up, if you can give, if we all touch the elephant, we'll get this figured out, you guys. We will know. We're going to bastardize the saying that Darante says, I know. But no, I just support where you can and help us build.
Also, we've got coffee hours. So like make sure we want to keep the conversation going. Like we're having these conversations because we want to help give people more language, more access to interrogate and improve their own lives. Right. We want and the part of improving your life, again, moving from isolation to association, is getting to know other people who are on the same journey. Right. And that's what I like to think of it, is we're all a whole bunch of different people moving together in the same direction, because we've all figured out that this direction is probably the good way to go. Right. And so we've got coffee hour coming right up afterward. We wanted to use the utilize, like, share the replay. Of course, don't keep the conversation to yourselves, right? A bridge is only as effective as the places it reaches, which is why we're bridge builders.
Exactly. I love do the bridge building. And I will say
that's Lindsay's whole thing.
It's beautiful. And I will say there's a piece of it for me too that's a little selfish. Like, I really value personal growth and exploration of other ideas. And as a person, you can only have so many ideas in here. So being able to connect with people at Bridge today who've walked totally different walks of life for me has always been so gratifying to like try to understand these diverse perspectives, and people show up genuinely and actively and want to engage and share their stories. And it's just so much that we gain and grow from each other. So again, as you'd said, please share the replay and come to our coffee hour right now. And we hope to honestly see you all there. Thank you for being present. I really do hope if you were thinking about checking out the campus and you were needing that push, I hope you use today to come to our first ever coffee hour for our first ever headcanon series. And we can explore these in more depth, and we can kind of have this chance to actively connect after the stream's over. So again, thank you, visitors, and I do hope to see you.
And if you're the type of person who processes through creativity, you could jump on board the Bridge Builders project. Like we could do character models. We could do we need to, solidify like the setting and the places. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be beautiful.
The production club, the art club.
I'm hyped. I'm hyped. I'm hyped. I'm hyping it up because I'm hyped.
And I will say, like, everyone, just because this is Jude's baby, so and there's a lot of people that worked on this. I definitely don't want to discount them, but Jude, literally, thank you. This was awesome. Putting this. I
was just the seed planter, right? I was just the seed planter. We came up with the lyrics for the song. I thought it was so much fun. I just wanted to throw it out and see who else would be interested in contributing. And the art club, the head of our art club is awesome. She picked it up and ran with it. It's great. It's a lot of fun. That's why I joined Bridge City. That's why I started lurking in the music club, is because I wanted to find people to collaborate with. And I'm happy to have found that here. And it's just a lot of people who are really, really enthusiastic about creating, which is awesome.
Well, and so I will say to our members, like we've talked about, you've heard Jude, you've heard our director of social arts kind of chime in on all the amazing things you guys are doing. So just thank you. And
come over, join us.
Guys, seriously, if you're thinking about throwing it deep, there are a lot of different ways to support. I am not as creative as dear Jude here, but I do enjoy getting in on some of these creative sessions, but I also like supporting people. So there's a lot of ways to engage with the campus, to join ongoing conversations and help what's happening build behind the scenes. So definitely get on the campus if you're interested in forward thinking, people centric, and life affirming. Oh my God.
Affirming.
We got to do the bridge
fast forward, whimsy, and affirmaman.
Affirmaman. There's been a whole debate about what name to put for affirmaman. This is where we have landed, but that was very awesome.
Just to apply that to headcanon, right? We want to be forward thinking enough to question our biases, question the gaps in our knowledge. We want to be people centric enough to understand that other people have their own version of reality. Actually, one of our community members, Party Wolf, just did a video about just to shout him out because he's been an awesome contributor lately as well. He did a really great video on the way that everybody has their own reality. Everybody has their own perception. We're all living in a multiverse. And you want to be life
plugged in the campus.
Yeah, and you want to be life affirming enough to accept that people will act and make decisions based on what they believe to be the reality, right? And that there may be conflict, but you got to understand the humanity behind it if you ever want to resolve the conflict in any kind of sustainable way.
And I think so much of this is about what we're trying to do is not only our personal growth, but growth as people, as how we connect. One thing I think when we say we're connecting better, it really is about getting away from the performative nature that a lot of places in society kind of put you into. So again, if you're thinking about joining the campus, I really hope you all join us now for the coffee hour. That'll be ending. And also just a quick reminder too, once the stream ends, don't forget to do the YouTube things, like the stream, leave a comment, hype it up if that is an option. I never know when that comes up. But then
I still haven't figured out.
If you see it, please do it. But then after you do it, let's go get over onto the global campus. Let's do the coffee hour. And until next time, keep rising and be the bridge.
Be the bridge.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
In a world full of irrational thinking and echo chambers, only the bridge builders can save the day, bringing us back to a shared reality based on truth and connection. Meet Fast Forward, bringing the future now. Meet Whimsy, fluttering to make new connections. And meet Affirmaman. Wait, is this really this guy's name? Really? Well, all right. Meet Affirmaman, doing whatever it is Affirmaman does. Together, they are the Bridge Builders.
Story, look to the bridge builders, where Dogmatron hides. Bridge builders fight. Your story is yours to write. Building shared reality is better than a fantasy. So you and you and you and me can rise above the phony and be free. Living the life you choose. Don't be afraid to lose when misinformation and out sing it on my jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. We can make it over anything when we focus on our liberty. It doesn't matter where we used to be. We're waking up and now we're breaking free. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. We can make it over anything when we focus on our liberty. It doesn't matter where we used to be. We're waking up and now we're breaking free. Jalapeno, jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. We are rising into victory, celebrating our humanity. It doesn't matter where we used to be. We're waking up and now we're breaking free. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Yeah, we are rising into victory, celebrating our humanity. It doesn't matter where we used to be. We're waking up and now we're breaking free. Yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. You say. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. You say. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. Yeah. Jalapeno habanero, hell yeah. We can make it over anything when we focus on our liberty. It doesn't matter where we used to be. We're waking up and now we're breaking.